We're going to have a great chit chat today with Prep and Rally Dini Klein. She has an awesome new book out, which I posted about yesterday, and I'm really excited to dive in with her. You guys submitted a lot of really great questions about just different meal prep questions and different containers, what she likes to use, what's great for reheating meals, how to keep meals fresh. So we're going to get into all of that. Hi.
Oh, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I love that you're tuning in from the bathroom because I think that's what I'm obsessed with about when it comes to your podcast. You're just so real. You're like, there are sleeping children here, but we're making it happen. And that is awesome. I love that.
I thank you so much. I mean, I'm trying to make it work, especially when children wake up too early. It's like then the nap schedule's all off.
It's all off. It's all off. I'm at a point where my youngest is 2.5 now, but we've off to school this year. He's in school till 3:40 every day. It's wild. So I don't even see him all day. I'm actually in New York on my book tour right now. I come home tomorrow. I've been here for the past week and a half, just doing all these different stops and cooking demos and everything. So obviously that mom guilt is there, that I've just totally left my family for my work. It's been amazing. But my youngest is so old now that like I have the whole day at home usually, and it's quiet. I don't have to hide in the bathroom anymore. It's really wild because I was just there. It went fast.
That's so crazy. She tells me it goes by so quickly. I definitely feel that, but that's so exciting that you're in New York and that you're doing your whole book tour. And that's just like the most fun part in my experience is like getting the book out there, showing people what you've been working on, doing demos, which is so exciting. And your book turned out beautifully. Like I was looking at it and just looking through it and I was just like, this looks great. This looks delicious. It like gets you really hungry. And I love the concept behind it is perfect for someone like myself who's very kitchen challenged.
Oh, come on. I'm telling you, everyone can do this book. There's such simple recipes. And for the most part, you're roasting things. It's like roasted broccoli, olive oil and salt, throw it in the oven. So anyone can do it, whether you want to tackle a full meal plan or just individual components. There's really something for everyone in here, and it's all practical. And that's what people are really enjoying about my demonstrations and the classes that I give. Because I'm not telling people this is the way I intended for the recipe to be, and that's the only way it can be, and this is how it should be. No, like this is meant to be a resource for busy families to get through the week stress-free. I want you to always fall back on this whenever you have some leftover chicken in the fridge and want to turn it into something else, or if you want to cook one day and have a couple nights worth of dinner ready to go. So when you're running in the door from carpool and your kids are all pulling on you and screaming, I mean, we all know that feeling. You are super mama and could just pull stuff out and get it together. So that's really how I intended for the book to be used. And it's all simple, really fun, family friendly recipes and meal plans.
So I love the idea of course, it being, simple and easy meal plans. The whole idea of like meal prepping, I had never even like heard of obviously until I had kids, and it was like, okay, this is actually a real thing. You have to think about it. And then, there's of course a lot of work and like, thought that goes into it to make sure everybody's, palates work with what you're going to be meal prepping for the week. And then also had a whole newfound respect for my mom with like the amount of effort that goes into all of that. But I mean, how can you explain just like the meal prepping idea? Because it's in logic is such a great idea, but then I feel like actually people get intimidated to actually execute on it and are left at a standstill, which I feel like is what your book is going to be so helpful with.
1,000%. So first of all, if you Google meal prep, it's a whole culture, okay? And most of the meal prep plans that you see out there are paleo-centric, or they're for weight loss or keto, or you're counting macros, and you prep like a rice and a chicken and broccoli, and you're portioning it out for 5 days of the week because that's what you're eating for every meal. I could never do that. I would get so bored. I would not eat the same thing twice for dinner because I like food. I enjoy food. But I love reinventing food. So I'm never eating the same thing over and over and over again because that's just boring for me, for my family. I just couldn't do that. So the way that my meal plans are structured and what makes it unique is that you're prepping staple dishes on Sunday. So it's a batch of rice, a batch of broccoli, a double batch of grilled chicken, a sauce, a pesto, just staple dishes for the week. Maybe there's a soup or a stew involved. And then you put it in your fridge after about an hour or so of prepping on Sunday. So you're making all the mess that day. Monday comes around, you already have a full fridge stocked with all these staple dishes, and then you take them and creatively mix and match them into 4 completely different meals. So you're never eating the same thing twice. So that double batch of chicken, half of it is going into a fajita, and then the next night maybe it goes into a chicken pot pie. So you're using staples to be the jumping off point to great meals later on in the week. Sometimes you're literally just heating stuff up and you're ready to go. Sometimes you have something that's already marinated, or maybe the breadcrumbs are already on it, but you're saving it to cook fresh that day. You have tons of different options how you want to go about doing it. But this way you're eating 4 different dinners throughout the week, but you're only prepping once on Sunday. So that's and I came up with it because I was working as a private chef in Manhattan for 8 years, and I was doing something similar for my clients where I would call it a fridge stocker option, where I would just stock their fridge for the week. Meanwhile, I would come home to my family who was cranky and starving, and I just didn't want to cook. Like, right? Can you imagine you're cooking all day? It's like the last thing you want to do is cook some more or be on your feet some more. I couldn't do it. So I had to really get creative and come up with a way to feed my own family, especially once I had kids and I really couldn't just be giving everyone cereal every night. So I'd prep staple dishes on Sunday before I got tired from the week ahead. And then all week long, I would just creatively mix and match them into different meals. I already had the quinoa prepared. I already had the veggies chopped up. I had a great dressing. So maybe I would make a salad out of it, or maybe I'd make a grain bowl. Maybe I'd make a quiche, but the quiche takes 5 seconds because I already have the broccoli that's cooked. So I'm just throwing that in, whisking up some eggs and throwing it in a pan.
When you're talking about meal prepping, you're talking about like 4 days of meals.
Yeah, so you're essentially staples. Let me show you in the book. So basically you have your prep day, could be any day of the week. I usually do it Sunday. Sometimes
everybody does it on Sunday.
So yeah, so that's the thing. It's like some Sundays, I mean, as a busy mom, you have 2 kids now, right? You had your second recently. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
How old is she now?
She's 4 months now.
Oh my gosh, you have a real baby. Oh my gosh, she's little. Oh my gosh, how cute. Oh, yeah, that age is the cutest. So what you're doing is either you can prep it on Sunday, but if your Sundays are crazy and you're running to birthday parties and soccer practice and you want to do it Monday when everyone's in school and the house is quiet, by all means, go ahead and do that. This is an example of what the Sunday prep would look like. So staple dishes, a double batch of chicken, some broccoli, a quinoa, a stew. And then I give you all the instructions on how to get all of that cooked really efficiently, so that you're in and out of the kitchen as fast as possible, because that's the real goal of the book, is to get you out of the kitchen so that you're still enjoying homemade meals, but not to spend hours. Like, I don't believe in fussing. We're all busy. We don't have time for it.
Yeah.
Done prepping, Monday comes around and you already have that chicken prepared. You have the zucchini prepared. You're literally just pulling it out, heating it. Dinner is served. So you know that you're good to go for Monday. And then Tuesday, you already have that soup prepared and the broccoli. So all you're doing is like serving it with some crusty bread if you want. That meal is done. Then the third night has a little bit of work required, but you already have the chicken and the broccoli and the ranch dressing prepared. You're just rolling it into egg rolls. And what's really fun is if you get your kids involved and they help roll the egg rolls, you already have all the filling ingredients. You're just putting it into egg rolls, making it fresh so you have crispy, delicious egg rolls that night for dinner, baking them.
Love that.
Getting them involved in the process, and that helps also create healthy eaters. Like, my kids have become great eaters because I really involve them in the cooking process. I do a lot of DIY style dinners where like all the components of the taco is out there and they get to choose what they want in it. Kids love that. And then the last, this grain bowl, just like a bowl with the other half of those roasted sweet potatoes, some of those chickpeas that you've made, and that same ranch dressing that you dipped your egg rolls in, that's also serving as a dressing for this bowl. So you have 4 nights of dinners that you've already shopped for, prepped ahead, and now you just assemble it in minutes all week long.
So you touched on this, but I mean, with kids, everybody has like a different, I mean, my 4-month-old obviously isn't eating food yet, but I have my 2-year-old and then my stepson and then myself, my husband, and then, friends or my siblings, my parents, whatever. So making sure that you're meal prepping in a way that can appeal to everyone's food, like the loves and also the dislikes that they have, is, I feel like, the most challenging thing in a household of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So what would your advice be on that? Because we got some questions, and then I just myself always find that to be like, when you're making one meal and then one person doesn't like that, it's usually me. And then you have to make something. And, in the very beginning when my older daughter started having food, my husband and I were like, okay, we're really not going to make her a picky eater like me. And, here we are. And she's like the pickiest eater of
No
all.
way. Okay, what's your go-to? Like, what is your meal? What do you like? I love that you're a picky eater. That's hilarious. What's your go-to meal?
For me, I mean, like the easiest thing to make is like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or like when you mentioned cereal, like my mom always used to do a breakfast night for us because it's so easy.
I love
and,
that. Honestly, that's
and
real.
you can only do that so many nights in a row before it becomes like you need to have some protein here for your child. So
Honestly, that's real. And I think that that's a fun thing, first of all, for kids to see that, like, tonight, one of my chapters of the book is called Brekkie for Din. So you're doing this French toast for dinner. It's kind of like a savory French toast because you're taking a cornbread that you used earlier in the week as a side dish for this beef dish. And then later in the week, you're taking the cornbread and making a savory and sweet French toast with a fried egg on top. And it's like breakfast for dinner. And kids love that. Like anytime you can mix things up and just make it fun and playful, I really love that. I think it's a really fun idea and gets kids to enjoy the process. I don't think food should ever be stressful. I think we put too much pressure on, like, I have to get my kids to eat healthy. I can't make them picky eaters. At the end of the day, we're all going to survive, right? And, there'll be another day. If they don't want to eat the dinner tonight, not the biggest deal. Try again tomorrow. All you could do is do your best. And the best advice that I have for you is to just get your whole crew involved in the process and go through the whole week with them in advance. So like at the start of the week, before you shop for your week or before you plan your meals, do it together with them. Sit down at the table and show them that they're part of the process too. What do you guys want to eat for dinner this week? Does this look good to you? How about that? What if, I serve the sloppy joe in a taco for you and I love sloppy joes. So if it takes two, the ooey gooey messy burgers, I love that movie.
yeah, it's so good. I mean, so like literally what you're saying is to prep and rally, like rally the family,
Yeah.
get prepped,
Yeah.
incorporate children into it, which is really, I think, a fun idea and a great way to kind of maybe expand people's palates. Like,
I've been eating really healthy for years is because there's no norm, because I like being creative with food and I'm always trying new things. Like I rarely make the same thing twice, except for with the cookbook testing. That was like the one time in my life I had to make the same thing a million times in a row. But usually it's just like improvising and just making whatever I want. So it's always something different. And because of that, my kids just have always gotten used to this wild card. Like they don't know what's coming next. And that's just their norm because they're just always game to try something new because there's never like a pizza for Wednesday and tacos on Tuesday. It's always something different. So that's really helped us. But really just getting them involved in the process and making them feel like they're calling the shots. So like when they're choosing what they want to put in their taco, they feel like they're deciding what's for dinner, even though you've dictated, no, we're having tacos for dinner. But like, look at all these fun toppings, like go wild, make it your own. If you want to have it in a lettuce cup, if you want it in a taco, if you want it in a bun, do you want it dipped in ketchup? Do you want to eat it on the floor like a picnic? Do you want to put sticks in it and eat it like a little drumstick? Like really make it fun and just always try something different because half the time kids just want what their outside world affects what they want to eat. It's not necessarily that they don't want a specific food, but they just like, let's say they'll come home from school and I'll try to give them a certain chicken. They wouldn't want to eat it with me. Suddenly my husband comes home from work and he sits down and starts eating it. And all of a sudden everyone's like, I want some of that. I want some of that.
right.
Like it just goes to show you, it's not, they didn't even try the chicken. They had no idea what it even tasted like, but they, for some reason, just didn't want it when I gave it to them. But now that my husband's home, now they want to try it. Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes when your kids are around with their friends, when they're with their friends, sometimes they're more game to try certain things. Or if their friend says, ew, that's gross, then your kid will also say, ew, that's gross. So you have to be very careful and mindful of obviously how you interact with food around your kids to create a positive sort of, I guess, like healthy relationship with food. But I think it's really important to give them, that creativity and the say to be able to put together their own meal and make a decision on their own of what they want to eat. And I also don't believe in like finishing your plate. And I feel like my grandmother was like, finish your plate. And I hated that. I'm like, I'm so full. I can't.
Yeah.
Even that, I always just tell my kids, just eat. Is your belly full? Like, when your belly's full. I want you to make the decision when your belly's full. After you've had enough dinner, if you want the yogurt afterwards, great. But like, let's fill up our bellies first. you know when you're full. When you're done, then you could have the yogurt or whatever you want to have. But like, let's first have some dinner.
Yeah. I mean, I literally started laughing at the fact that you're like, you have to be mindful of how you act in front of kids because my husband says that to me all the time. I'll be like, ugh, it's disgusting. And they'll be like, honey, she's watching you. Oh, right. And then he says,
Watch, but it's the same way with tuna. Like, I can't eat canned tuna. I'm like repulsed by canned tuna. And because of that, my kids all hate tuna. And like, I totally did that to them.
yeah.
I'm the only one that eats tuna still, but like my kids would probably all love it if I loved it. But I never make it. And anytime I see my husband eating, I'm like, oh, I can't smell it. Take it out of here. So,
I mean, I walk around with a box of crackers all the time. And my daughter the other week literally woke up in the morning. She's like, Mommy, can I have some crackers? I was like, this is bad. This is not a proud parenting moment for me. But
it could be worse. It could be ice cream. It could be chocolate.
I know. It's fine. Another one of the big questions that we had was just about freshness and also storage container advice, because I feel like with meal prepping and the times that we've done this as a family in our house, it's always like, okay, by the fourth day, do you want to be eating the chicken that's been sitting there and then you go to reheat it and it doesn't taste good? So do you have any thoughts or advice on that? I mean, in our home, we use these amazing and really pretty Rubbermaid ones, which like I feel like make it stay really, really great and fresh. But that was a big question that people had, was just like how to maintain the freshness and, you know, reheating days later.
Yeah, no, so that's a really great question. So the first thing is storage containers. I love glass storage containers. I love that you could prep in it, you could store in it, you could heat in the oven in it. So you could really do everything in them. And then I serve in those containers also. So really multi-purpose, take off the lid and you could throw it right in like an oven that's like 300 degrees to heat it up. But I love glass also because in the fridge, you could see what you have. So you could keep track of everything and that way nothing gets lost and you don't know, you're wondering where that chicken is and it's all the way in the back of the fridge, you can't see it. But if it's all clear glass, you could really see what's inside. If you're a labeler, go right ahead and label it. I've never been that kind of gal, but if you're a labeler,
I'll come over and do it for you.
oh, I love how it looks. I just am never that together enough to do it.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on storage container. And I use these ones, Zwillig Fresh and Save. Have you seen those ones?
Yeah.
There's some that are like very deep. So they really hold a lot, especially if you're meal prepping. And they also have these like really nice wide, shallow ones as well. Like I just love the shapes of their containers. Plus they have this little suction guide that you could like pull out extra air from the container in like a second, and it helps keep your food fresher longer. So that's really cool to have. And the way I structure all of the meal plans, I really took everything into consideration. Anytime there's fish that's going to be served during the week, you're prepping it maybe on Sunday, cooking it fresh on Monday, and serving it on Monday night. So it's always the first item to serve because you want the fish to be freshest. Anytime there's chicken or beef or something on the menu, that's always either Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. After Wednesday, that's it. Like I go like 2-3 days of chicken and meat, and then I try to use it up before then. And then by the time Thursday comes around, you'll see in the meal plans, it's usually like some sort of either dairy, vegetarian, or vegan dish that you're making. So you're taking the broccoli maybe from Sunday, but putting it into like a cheesy couscous risotto, or maybe you're making a great like cabbage egg bake out of it because you already have the cabbage, so you're just mixing some eggs together with some soy sauce and just baking it. So it's usually something that comes together somewhat fresh, come together really quickly and like fresh that day using something that you have from Sunday. So maybe you're using the pesto from Sunday to put into some fresh baked potatoes. Or like a flatbread pizza that you're making fresh, but you already have the jammy onions that you made from Sunday. So you're just using them up and making a perfectly fresh pizza that night. One of my favorite recipes in the book. You should totally make this one. Highlight it. It's my fave.
How would you say is the best way to be reheating meat? Because that to me is always like the hardest part of reheating food is like it's soggy or it doesn't taste good. And you know, as good as it did the day before. Also very interesting to know that you should only be keeping meat for 3 days.
Yeah, it's 3 to 4 days. Technically you have 7 days. According to like the food's health safety, you have like 7 days technically where it's still safe to consume. But I always say you should try to, use it up between 3 to 4 days for optimal freshness. And the book, I have a whole section at the back of the book. That's that pizza, by the way. So yeah, with the jammy balsamic onions. But whole section at the back of the book that's all about repurposing leftovers. So anytime you have meat left over and chicken left over, maybe you have a lot of like veggies in the fridge that you want to use up, this section is really meant to inspire you to be able to use it up. So I have a whole guide on different ways to repurpose. Throw it in a taco, put it in a casserole. And then of course, like a whole section over here, like if you have chicken, here are a bunch of different ways to use it. If you have meat, here's some different ways to use it. And anytime I'm heating something, I always say low and slow. I don't like using a microwave. I usually just do the oven, 300 degrees. If you don't want it to get crispy, like vegetables, I always heat uncovered so it like gets crunchy again. Things like chicken, meat, usually I'll cover it with foil and just cook it low and slow, like 300 degrees for like 20 to 30 minutes until it's warm. Sometimes with rice, I'll put like a little splash of water in it just to keep it hydrated, cover it and heat it as well. But low and slow is usually your best bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Also, there was a mom who wrote about feeling like every single time she goes to the refrigerator that if her child doesn't like something, her go-to is always yogurt and puffs. So I felt very seen by this person. However, when it comes to snack time, do you have any, I know we're mainly talking about meals, but I mean, is there anything snack-wise that have really been working for your kids or for your family that you would say to use for other families?
So things like for school snacks, my kids surprisingly love seaweed snacks. Like while I'm here on vacation, not vacation, but on this work trip, my daughter's like, Mommy, please order more seaweed snacks. We're out of them. And I was just like so happy that that's what they want, right? They're normal kids, I promise you. And trust me, I still buy Pringles. Like I don't like to restrict anything. I only bring clean, healthy cereals into the home just because I know that like if I buy the sugary stuff, they're gonna want that. That's all they're gonna want. So if I don't have it, it's not an option. So for the most part, I try to just keep things super clean and healthy, but I'm not crazy. Like we have chocolate, we have ice cream. Like I really am a believer in everything in moderation and just nice, healthy relationship with food and just best practices to get your kids to eat really well. But having things like when it comes to meal prep, especially cutting up some fresh fruit and vegetables. I think a lot of times we forget that fruit and vegetables are snacks too. It doesn't have to just be chips or seaweed snacks or packaged bars, right? Like fresh fruits and vegetables, if it's out displayed nicely on like a fruit platter, or you have it just pre-cut up in little jars, it looks like a little rainbow in your fridge. And you could have help do that. If you have help at home, you could have someone help clean, like, you know, wash everything and prep it for you so you have it all ready to go. And then if you have a great dressing or a sauce, my kids even like just putting a little salt and olive oil on their cucumbers. If it's there, it gets eaten. That's what I believe. And I feel that way for myself. If I'm trying to eat a little bit lighter and cleaner, if I have it prepared and it's in front of me, that's faster and easier than a bowl of cereal half the time. And that's why meal prep really helps me and my family just stay healthy and clean because it's already there for you, ready to go. You just have to pull it out, warm it up, or you can eat at room temperature if you prefer, but it's all there.
Yeah, you don't have to think about it. It's just like already done. Since we're also we're about to finish, but since you mentioned healthy habits and like best practices, when it comes to kids, because I'm running into this now myself, is like all about, you know, like when can the sweet come in the meal? Like when are we done? Can we move on to like the best part of it? What have you like found to be the best practice when it comes to, you know, also not restricting kids, but also allowing them to have fun with food and also explore different meals and different parts of, you know, just like the eating process?
Yeah, I mean, my kids know that like you have to finish your dinner before you get dessert. And I think it's good to have dessert be your special treat. You also don't want to treat it as such a special treat because then it's like it makes them want it even more. So just make it kind of like it's tricky. It's really a fine balance. And honestly, like I say in the book, like direct quote, our job is just to keep the tiny humans alive, right? Like we just need to get through our day. Life is too hectic. So stressing too much about it is never the best idea. But again, just have sweets that are maybe not the most unhealthy things. Like if you get them interested in dates or making like chocolate covered dates or chocolate dipped strawberries. My kids even like doing banana boats where they take a banana, cut it in half, put chocolate chips inside and heat it. They love that. So getting them to fall in love with like healthy like treats, that's a great way to go about it. And I think it's fine to reward them after they've had a great dinner. Yeah, you get dessert. Like, let's have something fun together. What do you want to make? What can we give you? Also taking like smoothies. If you make smoothies in the morning, taking leftover and making little ice pops out of it is really fun. And really worked well for me on my Instagram. I have a highlight called and it's called Feeding Kids, and it's really cool because it literally goes back like 4 years ago when I started Prep and Rally, and see my kids who were tiny at the time, and every time they were eating dinner, I'd record them and I would say, okay, guys, tell me what you're eating, and they go, hi, Prep and Rally, today I'm eating chicken, biscotti, ketchup, and they would tell me what eating, and it made them become better eaters because they're dictating, like they're telling me what they're eating. I'm not telling them what to eat, they're telling me what they're eating. And just for like that in their mind, like they feel like they're more in control and in charge, and kids are like that. They just want to feel like they're calling the shots. They're tricky.
And I totally
you got it out for you. You got young ones. How old is your oldest?
What?
How old is your oldest?
My stepson is 10, and then my daughter is 2, and then the baby.
Oh my God, so cute. Is he a good eater, your stepson?
Yeah, very adventurous. I mean, way more adventurous than I am. It's like it's a constant discussion in our household about
I'm excited for you to try the recipes in the book. I'm telling you.
I know.
My kids taste tested everything in this book, and even though they are great eaters, they're still kids, right? So anytime they were like, this tastes too healthy, Mom, or we don't like this, I would literally go back to the drawing board and test it a million different times. But there's things like tacos with just chicken in it. So it's literally a tortilla that you fry with chicken inside, and you dip it in a salsa, or you can have them plain. They're so yummy. There's this chicken and spaghetti dish. So there's really something in there for everyone, and you could always modify to make it work for different diets, to make it better for picky eaters. Vegetarian, vegan, I give all the modifications at the start of each meal plan. So it really can serve as a guide and just help you through the week.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to just put all of these things to practice. And
I know what you make from the book.
It's going to be awesome. And we'll make sure to link your book in the newsletter and also in this live after we post it, and some other you've mentioned, like the storage containers, because people had a lot of questions about that as well. And congratulations on your book and your book tour, and it's all so exciting, and thank you for taking time.
Of course. Congrats on the new baby. Enjoy her and just enjoy everything. Thank you so much for having me, Katherine.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.